What's something you can't tell your parents? That I have major financial issues and am worried about the next month's rent. It would stress them out, and I don't want that to happen. That my success wasn't because of your great parenting methods. It was in spite of you. Edit, thanks for the hug, stranger. Happy to reinforce this one, relate to this big time. I used to nick mom's pot when I was in high school. I'm sure if I told her she'd laugh, but my stepfather got the blame at the time. Are you smoking before work? The stash is getting kind of light, and that man has a long memory. Of course he has a long memory, he didn't have nearly enough pot. My girlfriend and I won't be having a wedding. Sure, we'll be going to the Justice of the Peace and having a small reception, but my mom doesn't understand the concept of not having a wedding. I absolutely cannot tell her flat out no, you're not going to be getting a wedding out of your only child. I can't tell my parents how difficult they have made my life by neglecting me emotionally as a child. It used to be a bit of a meme that daddy never hugged me. Well, like that, but to such an extreme degree that it actually qualifies as damaging. My unstable mental health, I don't think they'd understand. I didn't think my mom would understand either. Funny thing was, she was the one to seek professional help first. It was the best thing she ever did with her life. We now talk every week, both her and I. I hope you get the opportunity to talk to them soon, friend. I know that she's $500,000 in debt and does meth. That's rough, buddy. That internet strangers have been nicer to me in a year than my parents in my entire lifetime. My father is ignorant and my mother always negatively misinterprets me. Edit, spelling. This should be way higher. The amount of people whose parents are literally the first and most consistent negative force, bullies in their lives. How scared I am to have brain surgery in a few months, and how angry I am this has happened to me. I know how stressed and worried they are already, and I don't want to add to it. Back in high school, I wasn't as good as they thought I was. I just never got caught doing the bad shit that I did. I'm the opposite. My parents always suspected I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, but they were wrong almost every time. They still found ways to get me in trouble even though I didn't do what they were accusing me of doing. That I'm not mad at them, and I love them despite not talking to them for 10 years. Send them a Christmas card with exactly that statement. That I don't see a future for myself. They deserve better than to think they failed me, but I'm beginning to suspect they already think that. My boyfriend. My parents are very old-fashioned and having a boyfriend at 20 is seen as a crime. They'll force us to break up after they scold or beat me. My boyfriend's been the best thing to happen to me, and I'm not ready to give him up. They are shitty parents that should have never married, let alone have children. I really resent them. My dad sucks. I was always worried I would be like him. I make sure every day that I am not. That I have online friends. I know they just care about my safety, but it's the only way that I can talk to people that understand me. I'm old enough that it shouldn't matter, either. This big time. I've had online-only friends across the world for years and they're amazing, absolute rock in my life, but my parents would freak out if I said I talked to people I've never met from across the world. I tried suicide. Sorry Dad, he knew something was wrong, but I never told him what was happening. I was scared of my mom. She often shares my private problems with her friends, other family members. I just can't talk if I have any problem without being scared of it being shared. That the guy they tried and failed to get away from me in a party sexually assaulted me while I was blackout drunk. I'm so sorry to hear that. Similarly, I could never bring myself to tell either of my parents that I was sexually assaulted when I started university. It would crush them, even if it was over 10 years ago now. I got a vasectomy. My mom really wants grandchildren, but it's never going to be from me. I've been very open about not wanting children, but she thinks it's just a phase. The main reason that I can't tell them is that my sister has been trying and unfortunately failing for years. The pressure has slowly shifted towards me being the one to carry on the name and so on. I think it would break her heart. That I miss my dad. He's been gone 45 years and knew me only a short time. I was a cam girl for a year while I was living in their basement. Did you make enough to move out the basement? If so, it was worth it. We've all done stuff for money others wouldn't approve of, but as long as it helped get you moving, then it was a good decision. That I just don't want to exist anymore. Don't get me wrong, I have a good life. I just feel tired and everything I do seems so pointless. I thought about suicide, but I'm too much of a coward. I just want to turn to dust while listening to my favorite song. I'd never tell my parents that they were shit parents. I wasn't the easiest kid to raise, but that doesn't excuse how I was treated. I used it as motivation as to how it raised my kids.